Good afternoon. Welcome to the night shift space. Those listening in the background, anonymous, welcome once again. This is the night shift space. We run till morning, and therefore um, invite more people. Let's come on board. A lot is happening, and a lot also is happening within the East African region. Nevertheless, the struggle continues for a better country, for a better Uganda. Welcome, comrades. Let's share the space and invite more. Uganda is making global headlines in the region. We are seeing our Kenyan counterparts, our brothers and sisters, discussing about Museveni's apology. Yes, that is something for us as Ugandans we are past, but that shows you that the whole world people are angry, and it doesn't mean well for the regime. And like it or not, there's a sweeping change in the region. We must ensure that we use every opportunity that avails itself for us to dismantle Musevenism and the Museveni regime. And in that case, we must use every opportunity that we ourselves create and also our neighbors create to make sure that, you know what, we dismantle it. It's so surprising and a good thing for us that some of the things happen unknowingly. Museveni and his family, we all know what they've done to our country. We have become a laughing stock. We have become a country where everyone mocks, But it's a good thing that these show us the loopholes that we must build a better country and that we must not give up, and that the next government must be accountable to the citizens, must be accountable to Ugandans, and must be working for Ugandans. Never should we ever repeat the era of Museveni in the future governments. And therefore, this is an opportunity for us to make things right, to make things better, to do all that seems to be impossible and make it possible. This is the time for us to rebuild through ideas. We have so many young people who are in the Arab countries. We have so many Ugandans who are in Europe, in America, in the far east of Europe. I'm talking of countries like Russia. I'm talking of countries like Azerbaijan, and those also who are in the far east, in the countries also like Ukraine, in the countries, Ugandans that are in the countries, in the Chechen republics. Those are parts of Russian territories. So, how do we amplify ourselves? And how do we galvanize support as Ugandans across the globe to make home better? Having been to different countries as Ugandans, what have we learned? What can we do to build our country? And maybe the opportunity has been given to us that since Ugandans have been in different countries, they know, they have seen what can be done and what cannot be done. The simple things, the infrastructure, the medical system, and all that, the education system that we can build to rebuild our country. And the biggest of all is the political system. We must never allow tyranny, dictatorship, to ever even smell anywhere in the Ugandan politics. I hope this is something we do immediately when Museveni's regime is gone, to create a new constitution that is solid and respected, that gives power to the institutions than the people that hold them. In the same manner, we saw something that was trending of Cedric Babu. For those of you who don't know, Cedric Babu is the son to Captain Francis Babu. Who is Captain Francis Babu? He's the owner of the Metro Radio FM in Rubaga. So it is a shocking thing that you see that the family of Francis Babu, who resides in Naguru, one of those up-class residential areas in Kampala, can come out and solicit funds for his son to have a heart surgery. Of course, as Ugandans, we've reacted with anger, with bitterness, with mockery as well, remembering how the same people that are asking for help have been downplaying the plight of so many Ugandans. How so many times Babu has been coming out to defend the regime, and how many times his son has been coming out, to associate and also show Ugandans that Muhoozi, his friend, is the rightful person to govern our country, advocating for abduction, torture, and all sorts of things. It's funny that the same people now come out and make noise for Ugandans that they should come and help them. Too bad that Ugandans have responded to them in a manner that is wanting, in a manner that befits them. An eye for an eye. And this message should go out to all the regime apologists. When Ugandans come out to fight for better roads, for better healthcare system, for better governance, and you choose to sideline with a dictator, with a junta, you should remember that you're not part of the system of the junta. You're all pawns that they use. And the sooner you realize that, the better. Maybe now it's high time some of the regime apologists understood the kind of regime they're dealing with and work for Ugandans and advocate for what Ugandans are calling out for. We have our sons that are rotting in jail. We have Eddie Mutwe that has been denied medical attention. Even when everything was availed, even when the young man cried that he should be taken for medical help, the regime denied him. Now, some of the regime apologists come out and make a public outcry that they should be helped to go and have a heart transplant. What a shame to our country. The other day we saw the former Foreign Affairs Minister Sam Kahamba Kutesa, who went to Germany for cancer treatment. And on coming back, of all things that he felt that Ugandans needed, instead of constructing a good hospital in his constituency, having learned a lesson, he decided to construct a church where they know that they will hoodwink, deviate, confuse so many of their masses. What a pity. What a country. These guys have really embarrassed us. Now the same people come out and want Ugandans to help them. Ugandans, do not be blinded. You dance with the devil. You refuse to come out to call out on bad governance, on torture, on abductions, on silencing and imprisonment of people. Don't come out when you're asking for them for help. Now, let them know. I wonder why a man like Francis Babu, with a whole radio station and so many business ventures, perhaps that we will not be able to mention here, can come out and say, oh, Munyambe, with 1.5 billion, which is about 300,000 US dollars for my son to go. I mean, that is Francis Babu, whose wife was the former speaker of IALA, the East African Legislative Assembly. That is Francis Babu, a former minister in Museveni's government, coming out now, crying for us that they should be helped. Ask yourself, what does a common Ugandan, a common Wanjiku, benefit from all this? What happens to most of the Ugandans that cannot even reach the level of stature in which some of these people are in? When we call out for bad governance, for the rot happening in our country, these are the very people that come out and say, you see, every government has this and this. Nonsense. They forget that we are all slaves in our country. So for anybody who's going to come out and say, hey, people reacted badly, it's not how it's supposed to be, no. Put yourself in those people's shoes. Put yourself in our shoes as Ugandans, with the things you've done to our people, with the enmity you've created, with the anger you've created for us as a people. And you demand a service, you demand to be given empathy and sympathy? No. But I'm happy that this is a revolution and it's spreading far and wide. And we must not relent. With that, I welcome you guys once again to the Night Shift space. Let's share the space in case of anyone who wants to say something as we share the space. Feel free. We're also looking at the youth protest vote that is coming next month, and how are the youth going to utilize it. On Sunday, we'll have the Night Shift space special. We're going to call it Night Shift space special in the afternoon, since normally there are no day spaces throughout. So we are thinking of having a night shift space during day, of which we're going to look at the protest vote of the young people, of the youth, and how we can galvanize and utilize it for the liberation of the country. So that's in case if we will not have any other space that day. But if in case there's a space that happens that day, well and good, we can always have our usual night shift. But Sunday, we wanted to have the Sunday special because of no space during the day. So with that, I encourage you guys, let's keep fighting. Let's not give up. And let's keep doing what we're supposed to do in the liberation of our country. Ignore the diversions, ignore the demotivators, all those things that really try to put your energy and spirit down. It's high time we put them aside and focus on the liberation of the country. I welcome you all once again. Ankard, Serbia, Dr. James, Dark Matter. and poor people govern. You're welcome. Thank you. Dr. James, you're welcome. You can take on the mic. Yes, please. So, guys, welcome to the Niteshift space. And let's share, basing on the things we've shared, the things I've shared. Let's keep doing all that we can do. Dr. James, you dropped off. You requested for the mic and dropped off, so you can take on the mic. You're welcome.
Time, the amount of stress, the amount of just discussing this third world of yours. Even this space, people make sure you don't lie, you can't talk to each other. I don't think I'm just having a problem with picking the mic. There's something wrong with either your system, but I have a feeling it's interference. I was young from school, been picking my daughters.
What do you mean interference? You worry me. My system is interfered.
Yeah, I mean, you said I picked a microphone. I tried to pick and it failed, and I just know that there's some interference somewhere within the system. Of course, they have put in money in all this system. I've just been listening to Tamale Merundi's son audio. We are paid to abuse. We are paid. I got 80 million for this work. Somebody got 100 million. And then you're like, oh. And so Ashbak Kato was paid also 100 million. And you're listening to such a voice of a younger graduate from Makerere speaking to the rest of the world. And you're like, this country of ours. And I've just been picking my girls from school. Summer holiday starts today. And you go to school. From first grade to eighth grade, you have less than 200 children in school, which is almost 2 classes in Uganda, in UPE primary schools. But this is a school from nursery, they call it nursery, from kindergarten to eighth grade, which is almost the equivalent of S1 there. You have less than 200 students or pupils or children. And the quality of school alone. And of course, we parents, even if you parents attended, parents don't even attend. But of course, there were a few of us who, me, I have to attend because my daughter is on scholarship. So it's like you don't want to say you don't appreciate. So you have to go and be there for her or for at least appear as a parent. Because if the child is paying $8, why would you not attend a parent's day? But then you go there and they're saying that they're displaying talent. They're displaying talent. You really see that a child is in school. I mean, a child is in school. Yesterday, I was discussing with someone that, even the American kids carry bags to school. Of course, my girl is in 8th grade. Not 8th grade, 2nd grade. She has just gone to 3rd grade, which is more equivalent of P3. But what is in her bag? I will tell you for a fact. What she carries in her bag. Some of it are university material in Uganda. And so, I sometimes just sit down and then I come Peter movies. Really? So today, I woke up in the morning and when I look at the trails on this Cedric who wants a heart transplant, and I'm like, oh, my whole account was full of tweets. And I'm like, who has died? I was looking for you to start from nowadays Uganda. But then again, I also felt so bad. I'm like, no, here's somebody asking for a fundraiser. Go fund me. I remember I led a fundraiser for heart for a doctor who is my doctor one time, I think 2 years ago, last year, I don't remember. And I know what we went through to raise money to get a heart, kidney transplant for this doctor. Now here is somebody who comes to ask, and people were lambasting him. People, when you look at I ended up saying, I hope they don't transfer a poisoned heart. Because if you give this person a bumper the heart, I think you can the person just dies instead. People have bitter hearts that if you lick their hearts, you die. It's not out of want, but it's out of pain. I have made a tweet saying, if kids are message, Eddie Mute was collecting that money, I would fundraise. That pain that Ugandans have. Like, but these people read us. Because for me, I ended up, before Spaces, before X, before Twitter had become popular, I used to write in the newspapers. If I wasn't writing in the newspapers, I would put on Facebook. I came out and gave, I think, 7 reasons why people are going to die in hospitals. And the thing I said was, the moment justice, the courts of law, don't offer justice, just know medicine is dead. Because medicine is legal practice all through. What you see in medicine is what you see in the justice system. Now, what you are seeing now, because the justice system has deadened people's hearts, and it is translating into medical practice. Check on my tweets. I've made a comment that very soon we shall start giving intravenous poisons to people. I mean, if we can't look at this, if medicine can't help to eliminate these people, you need to get some of these bad people and you come to the hospital and you make them sleep forever. If I talk like that as a medic, think about it. Think about it. And so for me, saga, I didn't want to that in my heart so much because I left school a very happy man. I mean, but it's still, when I was in the gym, ngamaziga gampita mu buyisi. Watunula omwana ali mu America, omwana alina advantage. Nosanga n'abazadde, the parents don't even come to attend because I mean, they know the system is self-accounting. But you say parents day, but I think we're less than 30 parents are over there. Just in the Kulwanga, I had to attend because mwana wange and talent ki watunda kintu kyabaita talent so nakuseka but kyekigumiza America, kyekigumiza abantu wano. So we reap what we sow. Tugenda kukungula bitwasiga bo betusiga in that country. Tugenda kutuuka where communication is a fight. Because when I wake up every day, now Muji Martin, I have never heard you say something positive. Big Bumper even thinks they should use her size to sit on people. I have heard people say these things on this road. So I want a day where you wake up and people are clapping, but you wake up and you hear that energy just to give out negative energy. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. I have never, but today just took time to go by that. No man to Uganda. America is 200 years, but do we need 200 years? How come we have not waited for the internet? We have adopted the internet very fast. We have adopted being on X very fast. Why don't we want to adapt other things and press for them as fast as possible? No, Andrew Mwenda is saying we are trying to put systems even if we shall never benefit. No, some of these things must be now. Now. Muji Martin, the world is Banensi yawe ilikuoneka bono nisi yawe ilikuoneka bono nisi kati. But Baji Zimba it's like they anchored it here. There's a name here called anchored. They anchored it. It is to replace. Then you look at just the systems they put in place. And when the people, of course, with the negative, who have lived in the negative, say want America to collapse. Really? If it collapsed, what will be the rest of the world? Would America become Uganda today? I don't think so. And okutambula kulaba tukudda kunyumya. But for me, when I see how I wake up every morning, netayagaliza muntu. And obutayagaliza abantu is not because we want it, it's because you are seeing if kati edi mutwe muzadde ng'abaana be balina okubeera nti balina emitima emigumu because abo abaana bana bali poisoned now. And that's why I said if Edmund can collect that fundraiser because he now understands omuntu ngoyo bagamba nti ali kunganyira oli kufuba tolawa ataddeyo, let me do it. Or if it is Besige saying it's fundraising for Cedric, I'll put in money because that pain getulina that we are seeing, and then somebody all of a sudden I asked, does he want to build a castle in hell or in heaven? Where do they want to build a castle? And they said it's a 1.5 billion for a heart transplant.
The funny thing, Dr. James, is you look at the family that is asking for that. It's a well-established family with so many businesses, one of them of which the dad has a radio station, he has apartments, he has what, and then you're looking and you're asking yourself, then what will a common Wanjiku, a common person, do if such can come out right now? the people that are part of the system. Go on, Dr. James.
So have they come to mock? Is it? Oh, they're trying to tell you how some of you should just sign death. By the way, I used to tell people, I used to hear Umutonzi Asalo for some of us, most of us, Umutonzi Asalo, you just live because you're alive. The day there is something small, even I keep telling my friends in America, but for us here, you just stay at the edge. If anything comes, you are gone. You are gone. You are gone. And that's why I was like, why can't let me go and attend the school parents' day, because the soul of social center is our in lower grade, you can't pay. But now Mano, because she's talented, You tell him, yes, I know she will be. I know soon. I was a sportsman. Why wouldn't she? But I'm like, let me be there because that's the contribution I can make to appear. When it comes to healthcare, yes, even if with my medical insurance that I pay here from my small salary, I only need one illness to fall into poverty, permanent poverty. You have health insurance, then you go for eye checkup, and that's what your insurance can cover for that year only. They hit you with a bill, and yet they have already covered it halfway. And they give you a bill saying that, yeah, we need $3,000 from you, and yet 3/4 of the bill has been covered by your insurance. So I'm like, without insurance, if you go for dental, and then they give you $15,000 to pay. Like, what? And it's payable for this fellow. This fellow's here. And so, you people are trying to build a country, but from what? You're trying to build a country which is right, but from what? And so for me, when I reached here, I'm like, maybe that's why most of the time I spend my time fishing. Because when I get time, I like, go and fish. Go and fish. What it takes to build a country? What it takes to build a country? It starts with caring for every child that is born. It takes taking care of every mother that produces a child. And then it takes an education. And then it takes creating a population that is credit-worthy. A credit-worthy population, a population that lives on a debt that is transferable to the next family and is affordable. Credit-worthy populations, I have not seen it in Uganda. America, just because I have a paycheck, I can go and sign for a car of $300,000, and they say you'll pay it in 30 years. And the person lives like that. They say he's credit-worthy. He makes a plan. I'll be paying $1,000 per month for this car, to complete in 30 years. And at the middle, when the car looks old, you take it back and get another one. That's life here. And people live it after all. What's life? But you go home in our country. Yeah, I lived in Uganda for 51 years, so nobody can tell me that just because I went to America at 50, I don't know Uganda. I know Uganda very well. I served the poorest people of the poor in that country. I worked in community health centers. I first worked with the people in the displaced camps of northern Uganda. So sometimes I'm like, these fellas in northern Uganda, I know them from ABC to Z. I still have the image, the mark of that family that eats dry cassava with water. They like ones throwing that grass that tastes nice. In my district, Busia, we use marijuana. You throw a few leaves in cassava, cook it and it tastes good. Throw a few leaves in water. In Uganda, you have mujaja. But those are things that I know. I did them. I didn't know when Njaga became a problem in Uganda. For us, it's a plant which is used to help you at least cope up with the. If you put a few leaves, if you can't afford salt, you put a few leaves of ganja in cassava and boil it together, and it's edible. It's good. Try it. What do you mean? Make it in tea. That life. So we are left behind. But thank you for always trying to. I mean, even if I gave you hope, because they say a candle burns in darkness. Light can only, when you burn a candle in darkness, that's when you'll see light. That's when you'll see a candle. If you leave a candle now in light here, you can't see. So it burns. So your candle's burning in darkness to help people see. Yes, I'm from school, and I'm like, I attended the school, and I'm like, where you go to attend thing, and then it takes you back to your home country. It's like you're seeing comfort. You're seeing these kids, and you're like, no, but your mind goes back home. I've done so many recordings of things as I speak, as I attend, and then you find voices of Ugandans. coming in through in my recordings in America. People's struggles come in the things in the parks, wherever I am. I'm like, I'm listening to Muji Martin. I have gone to school and Muji Martin, I have tuned to Muji Martin. I have go fish in the park, I have tuned to Muji Martin. I have gone to the children play center, but I have tuned to Muji Martin. And I'm like, I wish this young man or Muji Martin is reaching everyone. If you can reach me wherever I hide, why are we not reaching this? Why are people not listening? Anyway, Muji, it's summer. I've seen people picking microphones. Let them speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James, for that. Sometimes when you speak, I wonder what happened to us. Sometimes some of us, even when we hold these spaces, we lose. We almost like, what do we do next? How do I get to make our people aware? Sometimes we feel like giving up, and sometimes I even don't know what makes me continue to push on. I hope that one day we can get to see a new Uganda. We can get to see a Uganda that we all will appreciate. Comrade Ankad, you can take on the mic, and then we'll have Comrade Chalo.
Thank you, Martin and Dr. James. That was really a good message, and I wanted to just add on to what you said. Uganda at some point had medication and a better health policy. At some point, you would be hosted. For example, in our parents' times, there was a time when if a girl got pregnant, you would get facilitation. You would, even if you were poor, the government had your back. Even if the conditions that were war times, the government had your back still. You would find services. But I think we have a big problem of ignorance and poverty, and it's very frustrating. We have to do more self-awareness, because eventually, if people in government for 40 years can't switch up their health policies to favor this population that they're deliberately keeping in poverty, the whole hallucination of creation of jobs and all these technical, I think, industrial parks, it's just for a picture, but nothing really goes there. You can't set up all those things without let's say a minimum labor wage, a rate, a pay rate. What's a pay rate? People are getting 10K. If
Ankad, you say 10K. People are
just,
being paid 5K, even 3K.
So eventually, if we have such things, the health facilities won't be to our expectations, and sadly, they also are going to be victims. Now we have a fundraiser. I've been seeing posts. Yeah, I don't want to be really sarcastic, but at least he's in Nairobi. I mean, how many can afford to do that whole the whole process of going to doing a GoFundMe? Who is willing to take in all that money? And who are they really telling? Well, people that earn 5K, people who actually just load 5. What are they doing? It's like pure mockery. And I think Ugandans we have to know our worth. To know Kiram, we have to really vote out bad governance. Even if you're very well off, even if you're going to ban 10 million this night, the health policy. It's a rotten health system. It can't help you. Even if you're very rich, even if you're poor, and we're all humbled. We saw it with the judge, Justice, what's her name? The name has gone, but yeah, we saw it with they suffered with the health system. Yeah, so it gets us with the health system, and if we remain living in that division and all that, if we decide and we open up and create more awareness, it's a very bad, in court, a bad discussion to have on a family dinner, but we have to have it. People have to act in order for us to all be okay. Because if you don't fix things, we are all going to suffer. It's the same boat. I mean, it's a matter of time. But if we're now seeing hashtags and GoFundMe thing, health fundraisers, I mean, I would have referred you to British Heart Foundation, but are you what are the qualifications? Oitawo. So those are the things we have. If you have good policies, you have foundations to help in such cases. Now, with your organs, so how many can afford all that? So by no we have to stop living in denial, and that goes to people that do policies. Wananchi can't do much. I mean, we can just talk, but if the people are not pushing buttons, then we shall eventually sink. And sorry for them. It's just sorry. We also had something similar last year. It's depressing, and to see people also mocking a good cause is also, you just wait for the time. Let's wait. Let's just sit and wait. Sip your cup of tea, like Doctor said. Have that tea. Have that tea. It's good. Meditate, because this Uganda. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Ankad. What a way to end it. Take a cup of tea, just wait. That speaks a lot. That kind of statement, your last ending, speaks a lot, Ankad. Thank you for that. Comrade Chalo, comrade from Kenya. Tunashukuru sana. Karibu bwana.
Yo, Mujimati, Ugandans. Good evening to you all. Again, I want to say it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. I don't think I'm worried anymore about you guys because there's a change that is happening that is going to become very pivotal and will basically become a catalyst to you guys having an actual better future. We saw the US Congress person, I can't remember his name, stating that he was shocked.
The Committee on Foreign Affairs and Senate.
Yes,
Both of the committees.
Yes, he had identified the issue of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, your current CDF, taking part in the abductions, torture of citizens, and openly bragging about it. Though he camouflaged the language into East African region, we all are too aware of who he was referring to, as much as we're also taking into account what was happening in Tanzania, okay, and also happening in Kenya. This is going to be very important, and trust me, it has already been tabled for reconsideration, the relationship between the current Ugandan regime, NRA, now NRM regime, with Washington. And Washington doesn't like to keep its dirty laundry out in the open for far too long. Just like they did Samuel Canyon Doe of Liberia, it's the same thing that they're going to do Yoweri Museveni. Now, this is where Ugandan people come in, just like Kenyans came in after Moi. You guys need to organize, and I see you are organized. That's why these people are issuing apologies. Trust me, Uncle Sam is not happy with what is happening in Uganda. Okay, Uncle Sam, the Americans, they ain't happy. They want to change things. And this current Chiefs of Defense Forces meeting that happened here in Nairobi today should tell you, and Kayanja Muhanga was the one who attended instead of Muhoozi. That should tell you something. Washington ain't too happy with that guy. And there's no way Washington is ever going to allow a similar person to take power like that guy in Uganda. Okay, so this is the chance for you Ugandans to take advantage and seize the moment in this weakness of this regime and take power and spearhead your people to freedom, progress, and prosperity. And you make sure you deal with this problem of these wannabe Ugandans can't accept that they are refugees who ended up taking out the government and actually holding native Ugandans hostage. Okay, so I'm not worried that much about you guys. I know you guys are going to make it, and I know as much as you feel like giving up, trust me, every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, something is going to be happening to Uganda and it's going to make you angry enough to actually put up a space. Okay, so change is coming. Change is coming, and as the late Dr. Miles Monroe used to say, we adapt to change. You must adapt to change, whether it's artificial intelligence, technology, or new powers that are coming, or new political wave. Change must come. The other issue, this your Museveni guy is giving out apologies. Apologies are not biscuits that you give to children. You need to show that you are sincere in your apologies. You can't just give an apology and then your son, the next, after 2 days, post on X Twitter that he wants to torture and abduct somebody and put them in a basement. You don't say that. Like, seriously? That's crazy, man. Okay? So I'm glad that you Ugandans rejected that apology. Just like in Kenya, we rejected Ruto's apology. We told Ruto to take that apology to Sugoi. Sugoi is Ruto's native home. That is where his ancestors come from. We told him, take that apology to Sugoi, bro. We ain't got time for that. Okay? So I'm happy you Ugandans, man. I'm also looking forward to meeting you guys in real life, in person. Don't worry, we're going to organize that. And I'm also happy on how you guys received Martha Karua in your courts today. Hey, we're trying our best in Kenya. And we are depending on you. If you guys show us this is the direction you want to go, trust me, we will support you with it. And so we applaud. We are proud of your resilience in this resistance and advocating for change in Uganda. We are aware that your government mishandles funds, just like in Kenya. They do that. Trust me. As long as the Kenyan Constitution 2010 subsists, we're going to send all these people to jail. That's why there is high chances that after Ruto being in power, a lot of people are going to try and escape this country because we'll be just hunting them down and taking them to court and sending them to jail straight for mismanagement of public funds. Okay. So on that end, I'm glad. And as we always say, Viva. I want to highlight this issue of Uganda and its relationship with the region, particularly the meeting that we saw this week. We saw the Burundian president, we saw the South African foreign minister, we saw the Congolese foreign minister, we saw the sanctioned Rwandese foreign minister, James Kabarebe, in Kampala, holding a meeting regarding the peace negotiation and the issue, the crisis in the Eastern DRC. And it came out that the sanctioned Rwandan foreign minister, James Kabarebe, put out a statement that Rwanda condemns the M23. Oh, wow. I'm even shocked. Is this theater or drama, Romeo and Juliet, The Merchant of Venice, or is this Hamlet or Macbeth? Because I can't comprehend these things. Or are they setting us up for what is going to come and happen in June? Because we are aware the Rwandan government wants to disassociate itself with the current M23 rebellion, even though random Zimbabwean journalists post here on X Twitter that upon them going to Goma, they are given biscuits by the M23. Those biscuits, the energy biscuits that the M23 have given them, are labeled for the RDF, the Rwandan Defense Forces. Now, how the hell did M23 rebels get a hold of biscuits belonging to a foreign army? Come on, guys. It's going to be very, very, very hard for the Rwandese to defend the M23 and their army and their Kagame. It's going to be very hard. In fact, Muji Martin, Ugandans who are here, these people will be contradicting themselves. You'll just be posting on their X stating that you guys just said this the other day. What has changed? Okay, so we're happy on the change that is happening. Like it will be very easy to find these people, to pin these people or in a court of law. And I was advising the Congolese people, especially the Ministry of Justice, that Rwanda had ratified the Genocide Convention and the Convention against war crimes and crimes against humanity, and also the Convention against torture, cruel and degrading human treatment. That was in 2008 and 2015. The Congolese government needs to take advantage of this situation and actually file a claim at the International Court of Justice and get reparations for that. People don't know. We follow, until 2002, Rwanda had not ratified. In fact, Rwanda had put in reservations. So this is an advantage for the Congolese to take advantage and actually proceed with a case. Because now, the reason the Congolese case versus Rwanda failed in 2002 was because Rwanda had not yet ratified these genocide conventions, international conventions against torture. Okay? So Congo can now assign lawyers, even if, because right now in the East African community, Congo has assigned lawyers from Kenya. My senior, Zebedi Elisha Ongoya, is part of the legal team that is actually presenting a claim at the East African Court of Justice against Rwanda for its armed activities in the DRC. So this is a chance for the DRC to take advantage. And also for you Ugandans to pursue a claim against Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, notwithstanding his apologies, the CDF of Uganda and all other people that have been acting ultra-vires or breaking international law and international humanitarian law, okay, at the ICC and also at the ICJ. But the ICC is better because it is in the person. It speaks to the person, okay? So you guys be watching out for these various laws that are binding upon state countries, okay? So going back to that meeting in Kampala, we saw James Kabarebe condemn the M23. Oh, wow. We also saw the presence of the Burundian president there. I did not agree with the presence of the Burundian president coming to Kampala. He endangered his life. You are aware that the current CDF, the chain of command in the Ugandan Defense Forces, is sympathetic to the plea of the M23. Okay? So basically, bare knuckles, shooting from the hip, Uganda cannot facilitate any sort of peace agreement. In fact, they will be spying and frustrating the entire process. So I don't agree with what the Burundian president did. Okay? So things need to change. I think the next meeting will be in Kinshasa. Okay? So hopefully things will go well there. But we advise them not to go there. That issue of Uganda being involved in the M23, I mean, come on. It has been proven all along by United Nations Security Council and various UN mapping reports that what's the status of UG with regard to the M23. We don't need to discuss it. Now, coming back here to Uganda, home, where your people are being oppressed, and most of the political prisoners are being held incommunicado, and some of the families don't know where they are. And yet there's a person seeking forgiveness. Seriously? You guys need to throw rotten eggs at Museveni. Come on, man. It doesn't hold water on what he's saying. So don't believe him, reject that apology, and stay steadfast in this struggle. Trust me. Like, for example, what you see the Palestinians going through, even if Israel is dropping 100 bombs per day, these guys are still fighting. You can see a child walking under surveillance footage behind a fire. The child is trying to wake up the mother who's burning. They were bombed in Gaza. And the child is now confused, and the child decides to run away from the fire. Okay? So you here in Uganda, you must keep up the fight. Apartheid in South Africa fell. Dude, the Europeans in South Africa had nuclear weapons. They failed. Okay? So you guys don't give up. Don't give up. This war must be won, man. You must think about it every day. Think about it when you're eating lunch. Think about it when you're taking your breakfast. Teach it to the children before they go to school. Teach it to the children when they come back from school. Revolution must be a way of life. And guess what? Here in Kenya, we're keeping the same fire burning. As I told you last week but one, we were handling this finance bill 2025, that Ruto is acting under the instructions of the IMF and the World Bank to levy more taxes and subjugate Kenyans to more poverty. We have had over 100,000 submissions, physical submissions of people against the finance bill 2025, and we have mobilized people online to make their submissions with regard to that finance bill 2025, and it's not going to be easy for Ruto. Okay, so you all don't allow Museveni to have a walk in the park. The struggle you guys must win this war. Remember, there are people in Darfur getting killed by the RSF, the Janjaweed. Also, those people in Darfur, they are also getting killed by the Sudanese armed forces. The CAF, the RSF and the CAF have been sanctioned by the United States. The RSF has ties with Ruto. The United States is in Kenya telling Ruto to stop his foolishness. Those people in Darfur, they are still fighting. It's called the SPLM. The SPLM that split, the one in South Sudan, even though they're having conflict of their own, and the one that left in Darfur and Kordofan. That's the part in Sudan. So don't give up. Ugandans, come on, man. Don't give up, okay? So we are with you in this struggle and we're going to support you all the way. Thank you.
Asante sana comrade, tunashukuru sana. Thank you for that. Thank you for standing with us and thank you for showing us that we are here as brothers and sisters. Kwa unyenyekevu tunashukuru sana comrade from Kenya. Chalo, you're welcome. Comrade Mugisha, you're welcome. Then we'll have Santos and then Uganda is leading. Comrade Mugisha, you can take on the mic.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. Nice to see you, everyone who is here. Thank you for the great submission, my brother Charo. Protocol observed. The truth is that we are at the end of the tunnel. We shouldn't relent. We should just increase the energy. We should just increase the speed. We should just increase the rebuking and all that is happening. First of all, I will thank you, comrades here on the night shift, for you have turned back to its days of glory, in the way that people no longer troll on stupidness. But if you bring your stupidness on X, people will troll you with stupidness. Accordingly, I'm a person who loves humanity. But today you saw what happened to Cedric Babu and his appeal and all the nyongos they are trying to do. It shows that every Ugandan's blood is boiling. It is boiling. And I will quote one guy who was on X and said, if these people can see that at least people are still just speaking on X and commenting, but time is soon where people will just, the boiling water will just go out of the saucepan and it will burn them. And that time is very soon. It is very soon. And I wish Ugandans could know and start strategically preparing themselves for that time. First of all, I will also, another thing I will thank, I saw Dr. Stella Nyanzi and other East African activists. They made a press conference when he was in Nairobi. I saw the people who were in the Gen Z protests. I saw people from Tanzania. I saw members from the Ugandan activists issuing a statement rebuking dictatorship, rebuking all the stupidness, rebuking the torture and abductions. A united East Africa is a threat to these people's empire. And the more we start forging unity in fighting for democracy and human rights, it will create a shockwave. It will create, fear into these people, and we shouldn't relent. As Comrade Chalo has put it, a lot of mayhem. The meeting that sat in Entebbe, to me, it wasn't a meeting of peace. It was a meeting of creating mayhem, and more mayhem. Though I feel, to me also, I feel saddened with the president of Burundi. But regardless, maybe they wanted to tame him that, you know what you're doing is not in our good faith. Try to calm down. As soon you will see Kabila and their people doing what they do best in Congo. So to me, I believe as the dictators unite, we as East Africans should also unite and start having a one unified voice towards change, because change is soon. And before I forget, we had a suggestion with Moji Martin that on weekend, maybe on Sunday, we will create what we call the weekend edition, night shift weekend edition during the, because a lot of our comrades here, you work, we know on Monday, and Monday you have to wake up early in the morning. We were suggesting that we hold during the a weekend edition, specifically for weekend edition on Sunday, and we make a recap of what has happened in the week and what we must do and discuss things in a robust way. And then on Monday we can relieve at night so that people can go and look for what to put on mouth and this in this or the other way. So it is there for you to vote. You can say yes to it because you're the members of the night shift. We don't dictate at the night shift. We share ideas and we see if they are workable, and we don't do things in corridors or in blankets. So if you're up for it, you can write in the comment section or send Moji Martin a message, or if you have a microphone, comment about it if it would be a good idea in this or the other way. All our eyes are on Kampala. These people may try to do something stupid. We know they want to do a coup. They don't want to go into elections. They are in fear. They are intimidated. There are a lot of things. But we have to take chance of the upcoming youth protest vote. Come next month, early next month, which is next week, we are starting the month. And that month should be a litmus paper of what would happen if some things don't go well. Remember, it's a nationwide grassroots election. And we should use them to mobilize more and to show the energy and to make young people in Uganda to feel that they are part and parcel of the struggle. Because if you give a young person opportunity to serve, in a certain position, he feels that I'm part of this system and I have to fight and defend this system. And in the long range, we can benefit in this or the other way. So I urge you members, let's put more of our emphasis on the youth elections. I don't know how we can make it, but let us make a lot of noise concerning the youth elections. Even if you don't know anyone from your village, make a lot of noise about the youth protest vote. Talk about young people, talk about youth protest vote, make people understand, and it keeps in their mind that youth protest vote is coming, youth protest vote is coming, because this is the beginning of the major protest vote that people have been talking about. If we don't start right now, when will we start? And I urge you, bigger influencers who claim quote unquote they support the National Unity Platform, don't go for the bigger gigs like MP Ampadea Kadata Gongendo Kubile Chikopo. Let's kukuba chikopo for change. Let's kukuba chikopo for democracy. Let's kukuba chikopo a unified chikopo. Because if we start gerrymandering in ourselves, that before even we go for the whatever, and we start pulling globes with each other, if we can't unite on this youth protest vote, whereby we know there are no interest in whatsoever, people who are going to be voted in this youth protest vote, they are not going to be paid salary. They are just coming because they love the struggle, because they want to be part and parcel of the change. Let us start with that, because that will be our mayumba kumi. That will be our mayumba kumi, because on each village, if we have 10 committed leaders of National Unity Platform, then it means that calculate how many villages are in Uganda and make that number times 9. It means we will already be having the ground foot soldiers who can stand up if an election goes hayway, and we can make the things go better. Asanteni sana, back to you, Muji Martin.
Asante sana kwa kuongea. Thank you, Comrade Mugisha, for that. And yes, about the youth protest vote, it's what I started with earlier on. And then about having a weekend edition night shift. Thank you for highlighting on that. With that, let me invite Uganda is Bleeding, and Comrade Santos. Uganda is Bleeding. If you're there, please, you can take on the mic.
Yes, apologies. My screen had sort of flipped. Yes, thank you so much, Comrade. I salute you all, wherever you're joining us from, friends of Uganda, and all those that have joined in or be listening in, salute. And I thank you so much, Comrade Muj and your team, for running the space. You always make us proud. So thank you for keeping the fire burning, and really would like to thank all those that have submitted. For me, I like to repeat, it's the same message ever since that fake prayer. I call it fake prayer. I will not read the message, but in protest, of course, we are saying a fake prayer cannot erase blood, and there is no forgiveness without truth. Yeah, Museveni must be held accountable. Yeah, that was a fake prayer. We face real pain. Ugandans reject Museveni's lies. God is not mocked. We have not forgiven the Museveni's regime, Museveni and his family. We've not forgiven him, because forgiveness requires justice, and Uganda is still bleeding, So, and in protest, I will just play my message. It's 2 minutes, so please allow me to do that, and then I'll yield the mic. Thank you. Here it is.
All the mistakes made by ourselves.
A message to all Ugandans and the world fake prayer, real pain. Ugandans reject Museveni's lies, calls out the hypocrisy. Let it be clear, there has never been a union between Museveni's regime and the people of Uganda. Not before their so-called prayer, not during it, and certainly not after. You cannot claim unity with a nation you have tortured, silenced, and brutalized for decades. This regime cannot speak of forgiveness while plucking out the nails and eyes of innocent Ugandans, tearing flesh, breaking bones, and sodomizing men and women in secret prisons, raping women and men in the name of silencing opposition, electrocuting and waterboarding youth whose only crime is speaking the truth, castrating male prisoners, stripping them of dignity and life, abducting and disappearing thousands, leaving families in endless grief. And just recently, General Muhoozi, the chief of defense forces and Museveni's son, personally tortured His Excellence. Bobi Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, in his private basement, then gloated about it publicly on social media. This is not leadership. This is not repentance. This is evil hiding behind a prayer. As they stood before cameras pretending to pray, their forces were already out in the day and night, abducting NUP members, torturing Baganda youth, and tightening their grip on a suffering population. They speak of mistakes, but refuse to name a single one. They say, forgive us, but have never stopped the crimes. If they were sincere, they would. Release all political prisoners. Return all stolen land and property. Reveal the burial places of our missing loved ones, like John Bosco Kibalama. End the use of military courts to try civilians. Dismantle all torture sites, official and private. Forgiveness does not come from staged performances. It comes from truth, justice, and change. To every Ugandan, you are not alone. Your pain is real, and the world must hear it. Let us continue to speak with courage, demand truth peacefully, and believe, even in this darkness, that justice will come. For God and my country.
Yes, for God and my country. Thanks for letting me read that. Yes, I'm still protesting that prayer. I know you've had this before, the message. I couldn't read it myself, but yes, it's actually written, and we've tried to respond to every tweet he's doing this week, and we've attached that letter. So the words in that audio is actually a letter to him and the family. So if you want to add or amplify, please, you can check our handle and amplify, you copy or whatever, do your version, and let us really continue to speak even louder. They're shameless. They continue to abduct people. They have not even taken, released the prisoners that they are holding. People who are in jail for just wearing a t-shirt or a beret, a hat, a mere party item, a NUP or National Unity Party item like a t-shirt. Some of these people are not even politicians. They're just innocent Ugandans. They're prisoners of conscience. That is unacceptable. Yeah, Museveni must be held, brought to book. So let us continue to speak. And the EU, honestly, those guys, the so-called ambassadors, the UK, the USA, we have to really continue bombarding them with tweets till they get tired. They continue to whitewash Museveni's crimes. That is unacceptable. And for us who are in the diaspora, I am in the UK, and all those that are everywhere else, South Africa, Kenya, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be on ground in Uganda. You can still do something. Let us do what we can do. If you can write an email, if you can tweet, if you can go to a live demonstration on ground in your different respective countries, if you do what you can do, if you can go to your parliament or do something, let us continue shrinking Museveni's space, because we have got to rise up and reclaim our nation. Thank you so much, guys. Yes, we are called Uganda is Bleeding. However, we do not stop at lamenting. That is why the handle is called @StandUp Uganda. So I urge that you all stand up, speak up, and let's free Uganda. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, comrade. Uganda is bleeding. Thank you for playing that, and never apologize for playing that. The message has to be sent out loud and clear. That fake apology, that mockery cannot be accepted. It's the reason why comrades within the region, counterparts within the region have even created memes out of it. We will never allow to be mocked to that level. And with that, Comrade Mukunda, you can take on the mic. You're welcome on board. Santos, you dropped off. It was supposed to be you next, but you dropped off. So thank you, Uganda's bleeding. We are here to stay. We are here to push and do whatever we can to make sure that we end Musevenism and his bad regime. I don't care whether this doesn't make some people happy or what. This is the main purpose for this space. And that is why we have that hashtag Museveni must go. If it doesn't make you happy, if you feel irritated about it, well and good. Too bad for you. This space is specifically for change. It's specifically to make sure that we amplify our voices, amplify the revolutionary cause, no matter what, until we see a new Uganda. So, Comrade, Uganda is bleeding. You're welcome. You shouldn't apologize for playing such a space. Such a voice. Yes, you can always play it anytime, any day. Comrade Mugisha, you can take on the mic. Your mic is open.
Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome. Go on.
Thank you. Members, you're welcome on this night shift. As usual, my name is Joshua Mukunda, and I come from Igara East constituency, Mushenyi district. And I'm the one who had the NUP legal team for Western region. Actually, today, if I can start with what happened, we have our sister who was arrested from Sanga. Actually, the prison is called Akagate. After Sanga, you're from the other side of Mbarara, and when you're from Kampala, it is after Kaguta Road, then Akagate. So she was arrested on allegations that there was a video that she sent on her TikTok page where she was saying Chokukebera Museveni Nkebere Chidomora. Yes, actually she's not the one who said that, but she used that voice is actually on WhatsApp. Something just very simple. So she was putting on NUP barrette, and then when she was at her home, she was eventually arrested. The gunman went there and picked her. So I was informed by the secretariat to go to Churuhura police station. She was arrested, then taken to Churuhura police station. So I reached there. After reaching there, I saw her. But then sometimes, Uganda for today, when someone is inside, you receive a lot of intimidations. that if you are an NUP supporter, you're not going to leave police cells. You're not going to take you to court. Even if you take it to court, you're not going to be given bail. You're going to be remanded. You're going to die from there. So she had already been threatened, but had been sent by the SG to represent me, to get out of here. She was like, I found it. No. I mean, I don't support no. I don't want no lawyers. So but I told her, I said, I know what you're going through, and I know why you're saying that. But my only prayer to you is to make sure that you get out of here, because even these people who are telling you to deny NUP, they might even end up, and the same people are going even to remand you, and even at the same people are going to deny you get out of prison. So I said, may I come to help you, but it's okay. I know why you're saying that, but I pray that you get out of here, and that's my humble prayer. He said, I don't want, I don't support him, I don't know if I've never heard of NUP. But of course, it was because of the intimidations and everything that she went through. That's why she was saying that. So she was arrested yesterday. Today it was a second day. I was hoping that she was supposed to be taken to court today, but she wasn't. So I talked to the OC who was actually handling the file. She's being charged of hate speech and spreading ambitious information. I don't know if someone said instead of voting, I better vote a Jerican. I don't know whether it qualifies to be a hate speech under the Computer Misuse Act. Oh, I don't know whether it's a spread of ambitious information. So everything was being forged. But then I called the DPC. I said, you can grant her bond. Let's give her bond. You can maybe tell her to report. You can on Tuesday next week, maybe when you're done with the investigations. And the DPC was like, no, I received the info from DSO and RDC that I should not release her. They want first talk to her. He said, but now it is her right to be granted bond. So if you want first hold the meeting, as if it is within the rule that for someone to be released from to be granted bail, the RDC and the DPC will first sit and make a decision. It's not there under the law, but you're just doing all these things illegally. But when I talked to her, when she said that, I said, okay, it's okay. I know why you're saying that. Let me first to go and inform the secretariat. Let's first allow her to first exhaust all her remedies that maybe she think that will help her to get out of here. I mean, in case she fails, she'll get back to me, or she will inform you, and you will also inform and we see what to do. So I think you saw her on Twitter or even on TikTok. You read that information that Dorina was arrested and she's detained at the Churhura police station in Churhura district. So I've been up and down the whole of today for that lady. So that's the information they can give in regards to that lady, Doreen. Then yesterday, the president of National Unity Platform, or the president of Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Chagwan Sentam Robert, was in Fort Portal. So we had organized, was among the organizers, being under the guidance of the organizing secretary, Dr. Kanavi Moses. So we're in Fort Portal. We had NUP Western Region Leaders Training. So it was yesterday. And people came in a very big number. People came in a very big number. Someone was sending me something here. I'm sorry. People came in a very big number to receive our president, and we had over 10,000 people. The place where we're going to, we actually we had organized to be at the. It is actually the place is near the market. So the police stopped us from entering, closed all the gates. So they actually disorganized because people are going to come, I think, in massive. But then most of the people were intimidated. This we are moving around. If you go there and we see you, we are going to kidnap your family. We are going to kidnap this. So those people were just intimidating them. But at least people tried to make sure they come. And those who came actually had a very good moment and even had a very fundamental speech from our president. So he was speaking to us at the SDA hall in Fort Portal, and then he summarized some few things. One, he talked about the issue of apology. Of course, he was joining us. He was joining on what we are also saying, because we are the first people to speak, the leaders from Western region. We said, and we told the people that we don't want, actually, that we said that was not apology, it was actually mockery. It was just mockery, because you cannot ask for an apology when you're actually mistreating me. You're asking for an apology when you're mistreating me. Yes.
What Museveni did is like someone making a citation with someone awarding a medal without a citation. When you make an apology, there are certain things or remedies that have to follow. That I
Yes.
am sorry, I Muj Martin, I am sorry, I've done this, and therefore I take this initiative to say I set so and so and so and so free. You get, there has to be something that is. But you look
Yes.
at this. Yes, comrade.
Yes, Mr. Muji. That is actually what we're talking about. So you cannot come out and you say I'm apologizing. All the political prisoners who are just in prisons for nothing, people who never did anything, but because of politics, you have detained them for all these years. People have disappeared. Drones are actually moving around kidnapping people here and there. So if you come out and you say I'm apologizing, you're apologizing for what? You must be apologizing for something. Say I'm apologizing because I did so and so. So I'm doing this and that. So forgive me. Let me do this. So, but people are in prisons. People have been killed. You have continued to kidnap people. People in this side of Chirwanda, I have told you, the lady was arrested. So you are asking for apology for what? You are not even apologizing. You are mocking us. That is mockery. That's why we're calling it mockery. You are not doing anything. So all the political prisoners come out and say, I'm apologizing to Uganda because the bodyguard of Chagwan Centam, Robert Edumutwe, was detained by my son illegally in his basement and was tortured. What? So you forgive me for that? So you come out and you say you forgive me, you must. So for us to say no, we have not allowed your apology. And if you want to apologize, there are things that follow, as you said, and even if you should put it in writing, and some projects you can write and you post it on your page and everywhere, and then you ask, actually, you were supposed actually to write to the leader of opposition and say, okay, give me the list of people who are still in prison. I want to make sure those people are released. Forgive me. Every Muganda who is in prison must be released. If maybe you can make that order, at least you can apologize and then you maybe. But what I think it was just it was maybe out of excitement, because if you cannot come out and stop your son from posting nonsense, if you cannot come out and tell your son as a commander in chief, tell your son to stop from kidnapping people, stop from killing people, stop from doing whatever is doing human rights violations, if you cannot come out and say something on what Muhoozi is doing, and then you're apologizing, you were a fool. Actually, you're not doing anything. Actually, that's why we're saying that it was just mockery, because the commander in chief, or the president of the Republic of Uganda, the constitution allows the commander in chief to make decisions on when you see things happening in your country. There are things that you're supposed to come out and stop. That when you really, so Mr. Museveni, we don't want your apology. If you want us to forgive you, please, there are things that you must first do. There are things that you must first do. Then too, of course, our president encouraged all the leaders to work together. Encouraged all the leaders to work together, to not to be intimidated, to know what is going on and what is happening. He talked about, he partially discussed about his manifesto for 2026. He talked about infrastructure, agriculture, health. Talked about that he will bring electric rail line after being voted as president, that he will reinstate term limits, age limits. So he said even he will work on the constitution and make sure that is put in order the way how it used to be. So everyone was happy. Then on the education, he said he will increase the salaries for the teachers, primary teachers, secondary teachers, and then arts and sciences and scientists and art teachers. He said he will increase all their salaries and they will earn the same salary. Not to say the scientists are better than the no. He said he will promote equality in this country. And then also he talked about that the strongest weapon of Museveni is promoting tribalism, hate, and he has a tactic of divide and rule. Why he said during the regime of Dr. Afro Bottom, his rest in peace, that he referred actually to the speech of General Kaino Tafire when he attended the burial in Bushenyi, when he said that the NRA rebels used it to put on UPC uniform and kill people in Uganda, so that the people in Uganda can hate.
That was the burial of the late Tiberunda.
Tiberunda in Bushe. So he talked to people. He said, when you see all these things happening, and someone saying this one is in my basement running in Nyankole, he's trying to promote tribalism, and that has always been, because that's why even the castle of Museveni is actually following his son Muhoozi. That has always been the tactic of Museveni. So for him, he got man and dumped it in FPC. People separated. He went to DP and pulled out to nobody more. So for him, that's what he has been doing. So now he started his propaganda. The new people are being supported by white sea. We cannot allow the lesbianism. We cannot allow what So that's what he has been actually promoting, to make sure to advise people, propaganda, using all those tactics. So he was actually trying to tell people who Museveni is, and people actually enjoyed his speech. He spoke very, very, very well. His speech was so fundamental, and people enjoyed his speech yesterday as he was speaking to people, most especially on his manifesto. Everyone was like, now, if you can increase our salaries, both for us as primary teachers, you find you're a primary teacher, but you don't have anything. You wake up in the morning, you say, instead of going to school, you better remain at home doing other things because the salary is very small. So he talked about all those things, and people were happy actually with the his speech. So finally, he said, we are all prisoners, and we are in prison because of President Museveni. So before looking at all those political positions and whatever fighting, I want to become an MP, I want to become a councillor, I want to become, before fighting for those positions, yes, when you are prisoners, you must have people who will be guiding you. He said that. He said you must be having people who will be guiding you when you're in prison. Even if you go to push to fight, you must have people, commanders, who will be guiding you. But you shouldn't be fighting to become a commander or to become a leader when you actually have a responsibility of advising one another on how to get out of prison. So he was like, now you first work hard, make sure you get out of prison, then those positions will come later. He said, I can see ministers, I can see ambassadors, I can see great men, I can see commanders. But before that, let's first work together and look at how we can remove President Museveni. So since we are all prisoners, let's plan on how to get out of prison before planning on how to become leaders when we are actually in prison. When we lead and when we are in prison, it will not help us. Because President Museveni, you go to parliament, you find Anita Mong, who's being commanded by President Museveni, and will not say anything, or whatever you will say will not be heard, or will not go through, and that will not help you. When you go to parliament, when the president is Museveni, it will not help you really. But if you have Chagwan Chindama as the president, even if I remain in the village, I know that whatever I want, if I go to parliament, everything that I will be saying will be hard and going through and will be actually being put into action. So that's the thing that I have tried to summarize what he said. But yesterday he gave a very, very, very fundamental speech. Everyone enjoyed his speech for the first of its kind. It was a very, very, very great one as far as the Western region is concerned. However, as I'm concluding, ladies and gentlemen, my prayer to you is that we should not give up. We should not give up. We should not give up. The Bible says that a living dog is better than a dead lion. However much lion is king of the jungle, but when the lion is dead, he cannot do anything. But when a dog is living, to be having that hope that maybe I can achieve something. So long as we are still living, we can achieve something. So let's not give up. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep sensitizing. Let's keep advising people. Let's keep in touch with these people from Kenya, from Tanzania, from who are also activists who are fighting for the cause. Let's not give up. Let's not allow Museveni and his family to drag this country wherever they want to take it. We should not allow them. We should not allow them. Let's use TikTok accounts. Let's use Twitter accounts. When you say anything, actually, our president said that when you said with when we were discussing Arsenal and Man U and PSG and Inter Milan, it is not taking you anywhere. We should be discussing what is happening in the parliament because that's where your taxes are budgeted from. That's where those are the people that are always using our taxes or planning for our taxes. Is from the parliament. That's where laws that will be affecting you, laws that will be helping you begin from or are being made from. So let's always discuss parliament, let's always discuss poor leadership, let's always discuss infrastructure, let's always discuss what is happening. If you're talking to someone, tell someone that please, we are having youth elections, let's organize, let's prepare. If you can get 10 members per village, at the end of it all, you'll find that at least you have a very good beginning. In 2026, you have a very good chance of removing President Museveni. So that's the thing that we should always rather talk about, and let's not give up. Actually, I thank Mr. Mugi Martin and Mugisha and others always on this night shift. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Use whatever you have. If you have a pen, use it and write something. If you know how to speak English, say something before people. If you know any language, Uganda or Nyankoro, or what, say something that will help your people from your village, your friends, your relatives. Look sure that at least we will restore ourselves, or we help ourselves and get out of poor leadership under the president of President Museveni. And the moment we believe in our President Chagwan Sentam Robert, we mobilize people, and the man needs us. I do believe that we shall enjoy a new Uganda that will be free and fair, that will be full of democracy. And like what is happening here, where you find that people inside of Western region, people could find when ballot papers they have already picked Museveni, people could only vote for MPs. We shall stop that. The man will stop that. He promised us. He said, "I'm not a liar. I'm someone who has grown up from ghetto. I know what we go through. I know what we go through. I have ever slept hungry, so I know the situation that is affecting most of the Ugandans. So really, let's work together and let's believe in him. And I do believe that he can take us to another level if we can mobilize and we take over the forthcoming elections. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Before I think Moji Martin, as you come, I wanted to ask Tumukunde, how prepared are you for the protest youth election? Because the youth election is on the door. Western region, how prepared are we on ground?
Now what we did, we have sub-regional coordinators. Last time I told you that it was around April when we are appointing sub-regional coordinators, district chairpersons at the level of the constituency, and then leaders at the sub-counties, then parishes, and even village levels. So, for example, I'm the sub-regional coordinator for Greater Bushenyi. Greater Bushenyi, we have 6 districts. So now, in these youth elections, we said, now let's use our sub-regional coordinators to connect with district chairpersons to make sure that at least in each district per village we have 9 representatives as far as the youth election is concerned. And the responsibility of this chairperson will be to get in touch with the chairperson at the level of the constituency. If we have like Bushenyi district, we have Igara West, Igara East, and Ishaka Bushenyi municipality. So each constituency has a chairperson who heads that constituency. So now the chairperson will be connecting with the sub-county leaders, and then sub-county leaders will be getting in touch with parish leaders, and then also we'll be getting in touch with the leaders at the village level. So that's how we've been doing it. So we've been mobilizing. We started it actually some time back. We've been mobilizing. We've been holding meetings, sensitizing people, telling them, the young youth, teaching them their responsibility and telling them that this is actually your last chance. We've been telling them that this is your last chance. Let's participate in this election. Let's get leaders, and it will help us in the coming election 2026 to find that this we have many people who will be on our side. We said if you can get 9 members per village across Western region, you have at least 9 members per village. It will be very easier for you to remove President Museveni. 9 members. So we've been telling them, go and check your names in the register. Because those people, you go there, prepare yourselves to participate in an election, check in the register, you find you are from Bushenyi, but you're voting for Mtunga. You are not in the register of Bushenyi. So we've been telling them, let's first check in our registers. We've been helping them to go and confirm from the electoral commission at the district. They've been going there, informing those people, and they check. Then they print out to the detailed registers. That's what we've been doing. Because I connected with the one because like me, I connected with the chairperson for Gwejo, chairperson for Shema, chairperson for Mitoma, then for. We are running that process very well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Moji Martin, are you there? Moji Martin? I think Moji Martin is getting network problems. But whatever it is, I urge you members who are here, wherever you are, so long as you have influence in your village or your constituency, let's try to mobilize on ground for the youth protest vote. These young lads, they don't have money to make campaigns. They don't have money to pay bloggers to post them. They don't have money to make drives. What we can do is to speak for them in general if need be. For example, if you have anyhow you can support in your village, go back on the ground or to your village, speak to people on your village, on your constituency, in your municipality, in your division. Do whatever you can do to see that the protest vote starts from the youth, because we will need the youth manpower when time comes and we need regime change. And in this way, we will be handing over, the responsibilities to the young lads. And if we don't do well now, then when? So we are heading to the main protest vote. But Gunogwe Musinji, please, on our socials, let's talk about the youth protest vote. Ask people in your village to send you the posters, because I saw some people, they made some online posters. Let's make the drum sound louder and louder. Moji Martin, I think something is wrong with Moji Martin.
Hello, is the space over? Like everybody is silent.
The space is on, but our host is we can.
Oh yeah, okay. As your host gets his network or equipment together, I wanted to share maybe a question or a comment. Now that you Ugandans, you have decided not to take the armed resistance against Museveni and his acolytes, and you have decided to actually make it a people-driven process, a people-driven democratic process, where this organization of all Ugandans in Uganda to mobilize, organize, and agitate for change through political means, not war, through political means, to try and oust Museveni, vis-a-vis the fact that Museveni is utilizing all means, including military, police, resources to resist the change of the Ugandan people. I wanted to ask this question. I hope you're listening. How has the movement gained momentum despite this obstacle of Museveni and the military, based on a people-driven movement? If anyone can answer that question, I just wanted to ask it.
Tumukunde, can you try to answer the question? Because me, I will first give our brother Chalo a part A of it, by giving you an example that the recent past UPDF bill, if some people saw it just recent, but they had already, designated the NUP dress code as a military dress code, and a lot of comrades have been put into military prison. But for example, Tumukunde can tell you what happened in Fort Portal just recently, that by a mere that there is a military law whereby people know that if I'm caught, I would be charged into the military courts. People defied. People, were there dressed in their full attires. There's such kind of defiances. It's what we want to create into the hearts of Ugandans more and more. And such defiances can create a struggle that you may wish to see, my brother Chalo, because we start from mobilizing people. Because even the armed struggle, it needs people in it. So mobilizing masses to feel agitated more. Yes, they know they have a lot of problems and anger, but as you know, people always need a start point, need the reason. They have the reason, but now they need how, when, who. I think I've handled part A. Tumukunde, you can come in.
Now you see, you've said the strongest weapon of Museveni has always been creating fear among the people from the opposition. And he started that the day when Kizza Besigye decided to stand as the president by sending armed people with tanks. That's why even when he realized that Ugandans are tired, he's now he pushed for UPDF shows are now liberalized. So now everyone can be tried in military court. However much has been trying them illegally, as per the judgment of Court of Appeal. But then said now, so his weapon has always been to create fear. But now, even if you run away from it, even if you feel you're scared or you say I cannot do, now the moment you're scared for that, it means there's nothing you're going to do. There's nothing you're going to do. So what you must do is overcome that fear. If someone is saying I'm going to try to military court, like people did in Fort Portal, they tried to move around, stop them from it. That when they saw his vehicle, people ran and jumped over the fences and whatever and entered, and people were there in a very big number. But at the first hadith and whatever could scare people, could tell them no one will be around here, but people finally came. But we enyama bw'ogikweka omuliro you cannot hide meat from fire. If you hide your meat and you remain with it somewhere, you don't go and cook it or whatever, so there's no way you're going to eat it. So you cannot hide your meat away from fire. So now, if you said you're scared, now it means that will be the end of removing President Museveni. So we must teach people to overcome fear. Tell them, even if they tell you today, tomorrow you will do this, because there is no any offense that you have committed, because you're protected under the Constitution, because what you're doing is within the law. You're being supported by the law. You're being supported by equality. You're being supported by God. Even God is on your side, because what you're doing is within the law. Unless they remove the Constitution and they say we don't want to have Constitution in this country. That's why pushed for UPDF bill. If it wasn't that, they would go without even any provision of the law. But they are pushing because the Constitution provides for that specific law that you cannot try someone in court martial when actually it's no longer, it is not actually a court. So there's nothing to go. The moment we fear we keep quiet, it will be our end. We must keep pushing. We must keep speaking. We must keep telling people the truth. We must keep taking what is written in the Constitution, and that is the only thing that will help us achieve what we want. And even by the way, I've been telling my people that even the constitution allows us by the way to go to push and hold guns. And a Christian theory, the constitution says if you stage a coup and remove the president by use of a gun, then you come and form your own laws. You come and form a new constitution, and the constitution allows it. It talks about it. But if you stage a coup and you fail, then they will try you for treason. Even the constitution allows us even to hold guns and move. We overthrow the president. So actually, the are being open to help us. But the moment we push, and I've been telling people this, at the moment we try to follow the right procedure, you try to follow what the law says, and they stop you and they deny you. When you try to be non-violent, and for them they become violent, then at the end it means you are pushing us into that CRA. You are pushing us into that we don't that we never wanted. Actually, you are like it's like when you find like because the doors, because the windows begin beating, it will bite you. It will end up biting you because you will not be having any option. So if you want to chase an animal, when you find a lion inside your house, you find a dog or whatever inside your house, you must actually you open just at least one door where it will, as you're beating that will run and if you close that door and then you begin beating, you will say, instead of dying, let me die with. So that is what is actually is like it happening in Uganda. If this continues, actually, to me, I don't know whether even the man has position advisors. They should be advising him that this is wrong, this is right. Let's at least give these people room. If you have such people. Don't rig these elections. Be fair. These people participate. The democracy that you promise people under your 10 points program, the democracy program, let it be practiced. Allow it. Let people know that even if you torture us, even if you have killed us, but we know in 2026, so hope to know that even 2026 will be rigged and the same will continue. People will actually feel frustrated and will make a very hard decision. But we should not be intimidated. You fear. And if you get scared, then there's nothing that you can do.
Thank you for that response. And I'm happy you guys are being relentless and you have basically cancelled out fear. For those of you who are Christians, you understand that fear is actually looked down or abhorred by God, because fear does not allow you to take the necessary steps to fix tumultuous situations. Fear is not a virtue. Okay? It's either you're courageous, brave, and you take the bull by the horns, or you become fearful, become a coward, and you let yourself be humiliated, mutilated, hurt, destroyed, or even killed. So I'm happy with that response. It's satisfactory. Museveni tries to cheat with his guns and bullets, but I don't think he'll be able to do this time. You saw in Sudan, al-Bashir had an iron grip. Like, we're talking about a serious iron grip. Anything you say, you're dead. Anything you think about, you're dead. But guess what? Where's al-Bashir right now? I don't even know. So the answer was satisfactory. Please, this work needs to continue. It's a struggle. It's a people's struggle. That's the only way we know it's going to succeed. As long as it is people driven, there's no way even the military can stop it.
Mujimatin, are you there? Mujimatin.
Before Mujimatin comes in, Ugandans, I had a question, okay? Today we saw the meeting of chiefs of defense forces in Kenya, and we saw Mihanga Kayanja or somebody like that, Kayanja or somebody, come in instead of Muhozi. Months ago, in March, where we had chiefs of defense forces meet in Nairobi, we also saw another person attending in the state of Muhozi. Like, whenever there's a meeting of chiefs of defense forces and it concerns peace in the region, we never see Muhozi coming out to attend such meetings. They always send representatives. You guys have anything to say about that? Or is it because it is well known from the various statements that Muhozi makes that he's not a reliable character? He's not a character that would duly represent Ugandan people with regard to their military interests, or will be relied on, or be respected, or will even be given a chance to speak before those military men. So I wanted to see your opinion on that issue of him missing all these high level, top notch meetings involving military officials in Africa.
sorry, I think the host, somebody, if they have a direct line to him, just call them and tell them to, oh my God, I think they've got to do something to their screen to sort of tap it and reawaken. I don't know the word to say, but I think he's not to, I don't know, he might be hearing us, or maybe, I don't know. Is somebody able to call him and then activate? But yeah, so I sort of wanted to respond and say Mohozi is drunk most of the time. Well, I'm not his PA, but that's public knowledge. He's got nothing really of sense to say to anybody. So, and that office that he sits, he actually doesn't even deserve to sit at table with sensible people, you know. So he just really acquired that office because he's Museveni's son, the so-called president. I don't really like to use the word president because Museveni is so illegitimate and he's not really our president. He's just forcing himself on Ugandans. Yeah, so I don't think Mohozi actually can even present anything to anyone. Yeah. Mr. Mugisha, I think I sent you a message, and please check your DM. Thanks. Dr. James, are you able to give Muj a call? Or somebody, please do so. You might have to drop off and do that, and then you come back. Yeah. Okay. In the meantime, I don't know, Crystal, do you want to come in? Do you want to speak? Do you have a message? Are you guys hearing? If you can show with, you know, the icons. Are you able to hear me? Dr. James, do you hear me? She can hear me. Great. Yes. So I think we are still waiting for the host. So, but in the meantime, I think there's a lot of silence. Dr. James says, yeah. So let's, I think, carry on with the conversation. Then when the host resumes, we'll be. Yes, Dr. James, do come in and say something. Those that have the mic, because I'm not the host, but I see Comrade Shallow, Dr. James, you do have the mic. Oh, apologies, Crystal, you don't have the mic. Yes, Dr. James, come in and say something. Okay. Whilst we wait for the host, I will.
Lucas, I was the first to start to speak, and what I spoke
Oh,
was, I think you were not there, but I can repeat if there was somebody who wants to listen to what I said.
okay. Otherwise, I'm going to entertain you with another letter because I like writing letters to these bad guys.
I think that's what I first said. I mentioned that I like what the X-Space or Twitter has become. I did a lot of writing that almost, by the way, I could write a book. I wrote for almost all the newspapers, from Red Pepper, Monitor, New Vision, The Observer. And most of the articles I used to write cost me a lot. And then when the Express came, the freedom that people enjoy to express themselves and people just can't express themselves is funny. And so this morning I woke up and I heard about, I think something like 30, there were about 30 responses on my Twitter handle. And it was about this man who wants 1.5 billion shillings. Is it 1.5 billion shillings for a heart? But the hate, I'm like, the hate tweets I saw. And then I'm like, I was like, we spend almost every day you listen to people are just bitter. People are just bitter. And I'm wondering if this man, if he happened to get a heart, he will not get a poisoned heart. If you get a transplant from Uganda and some of these people's hearts, I mentioned the heart, like if you got a heart from Muji Martin, if you got a heart like from Big Bumper, you just die because they'll transfer poisonous heart to you. But these fellas have, you know, you live every day to hear people just talk things that darken someone's heart. And I'm like, I think people have had enough. People have had enough. And for me, this worries me a lot for people who practice medicine with the time, because for me, I've been mentioning it year in, year out to Ugandans, whether in writing. Those days before X and Twitter came, we used to use Facebook. So I have a lot of things I wrote. I mentioned it some time back that when you see the justice system failing, just know it's a disaster in the medical world, because medicine itself is justice, kind of. So the more unjustly these lawyers behave, they're poisoning medics. And I've likened the trial of medicine to Besige, because Besige is a doctor. Let's go back to the Bible time when there was even somebody, when Jesus was being hanged, who was being tried before the lawyers, before the Pilate. He said, I know you're innocent, but people want me to hang you. This is what we are saying. You have a doctor on the altar. Anyone would be conscious. What are doctors? What are they? You now need to be in the position of that person who is looking for a heart to understand medicine. The sacrifices these people make. Recently, I was telling people in America, you know me at least, I have made myself that I can speak anywhere. I was telling this fellow that, you know, when I used to wake up every day from 3 a.m., you'll hit a hospital, and you're going to meet COVID, you're going to draw blood, you're going to do what, you're going to touch a COVID patient, and you're thousands of miles away from your home. Whereas I'm an immigrant, but people, you just can't take me for an immigrant and mistreat me, and you know, there's a lot we sacrifice to be here. You are all sacrificing for an American who is very arrogant. And like, really? Some of us deserve crowns. You have survived all this death from Uganda. Now even in America, you have survived death, but you don't have a crown for it.
Dr. James, your mic has gone off, or have you finished with your submission?
So who's the heart? Who is that kind of person who's going to give you a heart even if you're going to buy it? Because money doesn't buy life. They donated to your heart. It is even cheaper to get a heart of Ugandan than think of going to go overseas to get a heart of somebody else. Here in the country where I am, they're even now beginning to test hearts of pigs. So for me, I appreciate people who are unkind. There's a lot of unkindness towards people. And I made it point blank in the tweet that if Besige or Eddie Mutwe says, leads, you know, fundraising itself is an art. Who do you put to fundraise for you? It must be somebody who can influence money. It must be somebody who has a goodwill to people. It must be somebody whom people will listen to and contribute. So in this case, now you need somebody who has this, like Eddie Mutwe, who has attracted a lot of compassion from people. If Eddie Mutwe said, give that man, let's fundraise, people will collect money. That's the trick of fundraising. Somebody must make you feel. If basically come out and say, we're going to fundraise for this, people will contribute that money. The poorest will come out and give that money. But for right now, when you see Cedric asking for a heart, and I think it is that class, maybe they want to build a castle in hell or whatever. There's these words of unkindness that are going to come out from us, both professionals, for just what the country has done. And of course, I was mentioning it today that I went to attend today. Parents, they call it parents. When school is closing, then you call all the parents. Then I was telling you that me, I couldn't avoid heart.
Dr. James, have you finished the session?
But just because they say she's talented, and when I look at her talent, I almost laugh. But when I was called and to come and be as a parent to be there, then I go there and the school is almost empty. From first grade, from kindergarten to 8th grade, which is that school, there are less than 200 children. But who are attending, the parents, whatever, in a gymnasium for the school. And I was like, things just make me bleed and cry. Because I'm like now a child in Uganda. I've even been sharing the report, my school report with somebody. I'm like, I even can't interpret the report. For me, I'm used to promoted to position in class. Now they have given me a report talking about her position in the nation, 75%. I don't know what the statistics are not how she's performing. And I'm like, these things. But it's not rocket science. These are things that are possible. These are things that are done by people You are in this country and you're like, but did God exist first year? Because for us, we pray a lot in Africa. And this is what I normally tell people come here, because now, I'm sure 40 of them are coming in June under the Mandela Washington. When they arrive here and I meet them, people, this is not prayer. These people just practically work. It's not prayer. It's like you pray in Africa for the prayers to be answered here. You look for Maram, you don't see. The whole place is tarmacked and green. And yet we have just come out of winter. So these are things that I'm like, are they achievable? In the current state where, if you listen to Uganda, we still wake up to debate, to cry. Maybe people at home are happy that America is collapsing, maybe, but I'm like, will it collapse? If America collapses, where will Uganda be? So I had spoken about all those things. By 19, when you talk about medicine, you talk about heart. The first cardiologist I knew of in Uganda was Professor Maswa. I don't know whether he struggled with starting the Heart Institute. I don't know where it ended, and I think he transferred the things to Dr. Mongino. I don't know where it has reached. The first neurosurgeons I knew in Uganda was the late Kiriabwire. I don't know where they ended up with the neurosurgery. So there's so many things you can talk about that you see that Uganda had achieved. Then these fellas came and they raised Uganda, and now Uganda begins in 1986. Saying that everything we're talking about, we have achieved, we have gained a little, looking at the little time. But Uganda existed before 1986. Some of us are Ugandans before 1986. That you can almost fit anywhere in the world because you were born before 1986. Without a godfather, without Gamba Nogu. Skilled people. So it's depressing to be a Ugandan when you're in these countries. Very depressing. Time you're like out, but you are disillusioned because you're like, will I ever go back? And even if I went back, me who comes from Busia, what will I find in Busia? I remember we left Busia to go to study. If I told you our situation of leaving Busia, leaving Toro to go and study in Kampala and start working in Kampala, it's like anyone immigrating to the United States. By the time we went back to Busia, all of us were good. My brother is a permanently surgeon in Mulago, heading the Department of Surgery. He's never gone back. Now, when you see a story from my village, that people in Busia shared, patients in hospital shared beds with dead bodies. My own village, if I started telling you, the director of the blood bank is from my village. And then I'm talking about my brother, heading the Department of Surgery in Mulago, is from my village. And people in our village are sharing beds with dead bodies. You see that story from Busia. So we migrated to Kampala and left the villages empty. Now me, I have gone even further to America. That's the gap. Shall I ever go back to find? If after I left, went to Kampala, you go back, you don't fit in. People in the villages hate us, by the way, because they say we appear in Christmas times and. But in this place where I'm talking from, 3.1 million people, 947 cities, and every city. If you are in Jinja, you don't admire something in Iganga. If you are in Iganga, you don't admire anything in Tororo. If you are in Tororo, you don't admire anything in Kampala. Every person is uplifted. We're just competing. Yes, you struggle for life everywhere, but the standards are the same. Electricity, every house has it. Water, every house has it. The internet, every house has a cable. The choice of service provider is you. You either decide to use MTN, Celtel, but the cable has been provided by the country. It's in the house. When it comes to television, the cable, the cable is there. Now it is you to choose who is going to be your service provider on your TV. But the connectivity is done by government. So that government, you go to the village and I'm like, the other day I was discussing with a friend, I'm like, I have been struggling trying to win these fellas so that people from our country can come and serve. Because if you brought somebody from Kampala and you put him here in the village, these people call villages because you have gone to live with the farmers who have electricity, farmers who are producing and packaging milk, farmers who are packing pork, farmers who are, packing meat, turkeys, whatever. And they call those villagers because those are people who are not packing food to go to town. The agricultural state, they call this country. The countryside produces maize that we use as methane and it's now turned into fuel for cars. And we are proud that we have oil in Uganda. Yes, we could trade with them if we are serious. But for them, they can even now transfer maize. It's a country this is a country whose main agricultural product is maize, corn. But it can feed the whole world. And it has only 3.1 million people. We are 700,000 people in the capital city. hearing such stories, they look like a miracle. And you're like, I'm lost. Because when I start speaking about these things here, people at home will abuse you. They will always tell you, this is not America. Don't compare us. Andrew Mwenda was on radio yesterday on TV, television, telling me that America is 300 years old. So how come we have the internet now in Africa? How come we are flying? How come, the excuse you don't want to give? American democracy is this, but democracy. So are you sure we are going to kill each other to reach the level of America? Of course, people believe that that's what we should do. Who do you want to sacrifice for you to be democratic? Who do you want to sacrifice? Those of you who have gone to school will normally talk about learning from the best practices. So what are best practices? Do you need to invent an aeroplane in Uganda? If it's what now flies people. Do you need to invent an internet? If it's what's connecting the world? Or it's now just an issue of copying and pasting? And then when you just listen that heads of states of Africa have come to listen to an octogorian, things that solidify Museveni. But other countries, Africa believes Museveni is the vision bearer of Africa. The people who have disorganized the whole world here, you know it, they are 19-year-olds. The people who have disorganized the American system they are teens. And America is saying, if they are the very people who led us to the moon, let the young people take center stage. Look at me, I'm a storyteller. Mine is done. I've told you my story. The schools have closed, so now we are thinking of summer programs. And it's not only me who now thinks about it, because the summer programs are already laid for you. The beach open, the swimming, everywhere people are going to be swimming. Then there are those who can afford to fly out now for summer holidays. They'll leave the country. They can go anywhere. You can imagine that here, we go to school in winter. Now, because the summer, they say the summer, of course, now is optimum, better temperature, better living conditions. It's now time for holiday. We have been struggling to study under snow. Now the children have been left wild because it is summer. Can winter not spell a disaster in Africa? And the summer temperatures will be 3 digits. The world is extremely hot. But everywhere you pass now, the air conditioning is running. These are things these people have done, and they will give our excuses of who were taken as slaves. If the slaves built America, how come those who remain behind? The Africans who built America, why can't the Africans who have remained behind build Africa? The genes are transmitted, are transferred. Anyway, those stories of Uganda where you wake up every morning and it's a depressing story, we are fighting, we are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing this. And I'm like, how can't we just wake up and at least have something different? But we are waking up every morning, we are looking for who to kill. Nyerere said Africans are always, as Americans are struggling to go to the moon, for us always struggling to see who will kill first. Who do we take to the grave first? Just because James speaks from America, he has now enemies, state enemies in the country of Uganda. Yeah, I'm just telling you the stories I see here. The stories I see here. An 8th grade child has stuff that has been touched by somebody in the university in Uganda. Our children are still struggling. If I showed you, they call them writing pads. Let me look for the I'll take a picture and post what kids write on here. Those things for us, we used to call them, we use slates and dusters. These ones have writing pads that are that have they can do homework and send it online to their class teachers. You just switch it on, and it's like those slates you write and also if you ever did slate, for us we had chalk, duster, and slates, but these guys have modern slates here. But these are small things you see that we can do. When shall we? When the chances of development are so huge in Africa, especially if you have traveled and said, hey, so we haven't even reached this level. The library of these small 2 girls I have here is just too sickening. I just feel like burning books. The content the child has in the brain, I wouldn't think they can go mad. but it's just because they're trained. They have grown up in the system. Anyway, good night for you, Uganda. It's good evening for us. It's just 5. As usual, me, I want to go to... People in my house now hate fish, that it's too much. But it's also now a game. It's something you do for winter. I mean, for summer, everybody's going to be fishing. For them, they fish for sports. For me, I fish and bring back home. And I also just catch good ones. And meanwhile, people at home, they're killing my people in Lake Victoria. My people which are being killed, they have sniffer dogs. If you ate an Nile perch, the police will bring it. Uganda. By the time I left the bush, they were using sniffer dogs to find out who ate fish. And you're like, what side of police? The kind of crudeness. That you train a policeman to trace somebody who has eaten fish, and you want them to explain to you where they got that fish from. This one was a good one. I think I concluded with that. For us, we grew up taking it. I never knew njaga was a drug until finishing secondary school, because for us it was a normal plant. You cook in tea, like the Baganda cook, they call it what? Omujaja. For us, that ganja is just was normal. Cook it in cassava, and it makes cassava taste good. Make tea, and put a few leaves in milk tea, you like the tea. Now it is a drug, I didn't know. And I was advising you, if you can get a few roots in your compound, take it for your brain, it's good. I submit, thank you.
Thank you so much, comrade. I think I saw Mugisha here, or somebody can go off and call the host, because the host is muted. Maybe we check again. Comrade Muj, can you confirm you can hear us? Because we don't know whether you wanted to end the space or should we carry on. Comrade Muj, if you can send us a signal that you can hear us. Or somebody, I don't know if Crystal, you're able to go off and call Muj or Comrade Mugisha, but Mugisha has gone off perhaps to call him. Yeah, so guys, we carrying on as we wait for the host to respond. We hope he's all right and there's nothing wrong. Yeah, so
let me give him a surprise. Let me call him and see, maybe, you know.
Oh, no. Just a minute, Comrade James, don't drop off, because your speaker, if you drop off, there's nobody else to let you, to give you the mic. And I think Comrade Mugisha dropped, so we can't afford to lose another person. And so in short, you're hosting whilst we wait for him to respond. But I'm asking those that are not, because right now, nobody's able to grant anyone the speaking, the mic. So if you drop, you will lose that mic, and yet you're helping to keep the space alive. Yeah, so maybe one of the comrades like Crystal, Big Bumper, or anyone can drop off and then come back, you know. Yeah, but for the sake of us going, yeah, Dr. James, I actually wanted to touch a bit on the doctors and the judiciary. Yeah, because I don't know what makes them think that these two departments or offices are not connected, because they are interconnected in several ways, you know, because it is the judiciary, of course, interprets laws related to healthcare to let patients know their rights, you know, medical malpractice, public health policy, you know, and courts, of course, can influence public health policy. Yeah. So there's so much that is going on. And the fact that these doctors will see most of the time, some of these young men and women are carried to court because either their ribs have been broken, some have been raped and tortured, you know, they've got shattered uteruses, others, I do not want to describe all the things, because they are sodomizing young people, you know, so they will come to court with all sorts of things, and the doctors, the judicial system will ignore all this and send that sick person, or that person that is even failing to walk, to rot off in jail. I don't want to talk so much on Eddie Mutre, because there are so many others, but using Eddie Mutre's case, because that one is fresh in our minds. The court, actually, they had agreed that he should leave Masaka Hospital to go, not hospital, Masaka jail, to go to Luzira, where there is a bit more facilities. But I do believe, of course, it must be limited, but maybe, of course, a lot better, because Masaka is remote. So, and they've ignored. How many days now? Is it 5, 10 days later? The guy is still being held without treatment. And this is somebody who people fear that he's maybe broken or fractured a few bones. This guy, Eddie Mutre, said he was handcuffed and he spent, I think, over 3 days or maybe 3 days in water, you know. So you can imagine the sort of trauma, the torture. Yeah. So the judiciary is actually lying to itself if it thinks it can work without the medical side of things, you know. So the two are interconnected. And just as we speak on that, the judiciary, yeah, you know, because as we wait for the host, I said, I think I'm beginning to write a lot more these days. So we did hear the Lady Justice Irene Mulia Gonja. Yeah, I'll just call her Lady Justice Irene of the judiciary of Uganda. She just recently lost her husband, and she was really lamenting. She was at the altar. I think, Dr. James, you talked about that, and she was telling people how one of the hospitals that has been known for generations, Mulago Hospital, that hospital failed her. And just to give people a bit of background about Mulago Hospital, I think, Dr. James, you'll talk a bit more on Mulago Hospital. This is a hospital where people came from all over the world, because it was good quality, and we did have students from Kenya, Tanzania come and attend Mulago Hospital, do their training or stuff like internship or stuff like that. Or what is that after your medicine, your practical, so there's some, I think, Dr. James, you'll touch on that. But yeah, so this lady stood at the altar and she was really lamenting how that hospital, she's blaming the hospital, the staff there, so we do have a message, and I think we sent her that message. Of course, it isn't rude, but I'll read it as we wait for Comrade Muj. Just give me a buzz or just signal to us that you can hear us. Yeah. So this is an open letter to Lady Justice Irene Mulyagonja and the Judiciary of Uganda. Dear Lady Justice Irene, Mulyagonja, we extend our deepest sympathies to you and your family on the passing of your husband, or Advocate John Baptist Kakoza. His loss and your experience with Uganda's broken healthcare system reflect a deeper national tragedy. You rightly called Mulago Hospital a monument, a symbol that a symbol of failure, neglect, and theft of public resources. But this rot runs deeper, extending beyond healthcare to every pillar of our society, including the justice system you serve. Because this lady actually on the pulpit stood there and said, Catholics call it the altar. Yeah, she stood at the altar and she said, oh, for me, I'm a lady justice. And of course, she was trying to say she's got lots of money. And because there's so much that she said. But I think, guys, Dr. James, do you hear me? I don't want to be speaking to myself. Guys, can you hear me if you signal? Okay, am I speaking to myself? Can somebody let me know they can hear me? Otherwise, we might all
we
have
can
to...
hear you. We can hear you, girl. You can continue.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm losing it. Yeah, so she stood at the altar and she really described how the hospital failed her, And for me, my worry is each and every of these different offices, they're failing to see that it's all interlinked, It's all interlinked. So this is what we are saying in this letter. Yeah, so I will go on. Yeah, so but the rot runs deeper, extending beyond the healthcare to every pillar of our society, including the justice system you serve. Ugandans are abducted, tortured, denied medical care, and imprisoned without fair trial. Opposition members face court-martial, civilians are denied bail, and trumped-up charges are used as tools of political repression. Meanwhile, the judiciary remains silent or complicit when it should be the last shield of justice for the people. You have now personally felt the pain this system inflicts on ordinary Ugandans every day, meaning the hospital, because she actually described how they had to move. She called it hospital tourism. They had to move from hospital to hospital because whatever they needed was not in the hospitals, and yet they kept promising them, "Oh, we'll bring it later. We'll bring it in the morning. We'll bring it in the afternoon." Like all these pig fluids or foods were not available for her ailing husband, and these guys kept saying, "Oh, we'll bring it later. I'm bringing it now," only to discover that they didn't even have the resources. So that's why they kept going from place to place. So it is all corruption. And there's nothing in these hospitals, not even a paracetamol. People have to run to pharmacies to buy their own supplies, and it's because the judiciary has failed to guide these people, at the very top. Anyway, so we carry on. You have now personally felt the pain this system inflicts on ordinary Ugandans every day. Let this moment of mourning also be a call to courage. Use your voice, your office, and your influence to demand justice, accountability, and the immediate release of all political prisoners. Stop lending credibility to a system that is killing our people, whether in prisons, courtrooms, or hospitals. It is not just Mulago Hospital that failed. It is Museveni's system that failed you and is failing Uganda. You can help change that. The time is now. Respectfully, concerned Ugandans. So when we do a note, we always sign it off as concerned Ugandans, because these guys, I don't know. Dr. James, you're the doctor. Explain the Mulago bit, how, Mulago, Makerere University, these are institutions we've had in Uganda that Museveni has destroyed. You know, people would come from all over the world to go to our university, Makerere University. We used to have students from Tanzania, from Kenya. I think we still have them, and from all over, from other places. You know, but right now it's such a shame. You know, it's a shame that they can hardly offer anything. I remember when we were growing up, we used to get free treatment in this hospital that she's calling now a monument. You know, we actually used to get free stuff. They would call it, is it Mwana Mujimu or something? My Luganda is not good, but I think it was to do with keeping the child healthy, and you know, so there was really freebies for the everyday person. Right now, there's not even a Panadol to share between two people or a paracetamol. Yeah, Dr. James, do come in and speak on Makerere and Mulago.
Because I think it's not, I wouldn't, 10 years of, I left Mulago, I think 1993, 1994, 93, that's when I was expelled from that place. So I can't talk so much about it, but at least what I know, the conditions in Uganda of creating poor people cannot allow Mulago to function. Now, Mulago is a national referral hospital. We have regional hospitals, which are also referrals. Then we have district hospitals. From district hospitals, you go to health. When you have all those systems, especially periphery dead, then Mulago becomes more of a health center. And Mulago is filled with people who cannot afford service in Mulago. But to make it simple, what would happen at national referral? The issues that you're hearing that somebody wants to go for a heart transplant in UK would have been done in Mulago if Mulago had advanced. How many of you have heard stories of the Dr. Chisekas going to Germany and only find Dr. Kiriawire there? How many of you have heard stories of somebody flying to South Africa only to find Professor Maswa there? At least I know my brother travels. He's heading to surgery, but he travels. And when he travels, it is to go and do some, they are invited to go and do some intricate surgeries outside, overseas. The latest I knew, he was in Egypt. That tells you the quality that Mulago was. He has not trained outside. He has never trained overseas. He trained from Makerere. I'm talking from somebody in my family. The brother I follow fourth, because we are 10 in the family. And so the system collapsed. The institutions were killed. And I think I already mentioned that thing properly, that most Ugandans know Uganda after 1986. Ugandans don't know that Uganda existed before 1986. Our brothers in Kenya here will even tell you that some of the top-notch doctors they have working in this expert hospital in Kenya are Ugandans. Surprisingly, when I came here, the hospital where I Master One Hospital, on board, the executive director is an Indian of Ugandan origin. And his father was the first. His father was the first hospital director at Mulago Hospital. But after they left, he came and his son trained in medicine, and he was an executive director board here, Master One. Like you hear of Patel, the man who is heading the FBI, is a Ugandan of Indian origin. So we lost talent, and we have not lost talent. We still have talent that is wasted. Apart from politicizing and weaponizing the kidney venture that Mulago Hospital wanted to carry out, which eventually people started fearing, saying it is organ cell. But Mulago has nephrologists. They have kidney surgeons who are not functional, who are not. By the way, that man, maybe whom they won't even fly, to go, if he happens to fly, he might go, and then as a matter of fact, there must be an accompanying doctor from Mulago to accompany him. But that is usually done to make sure at least there is transfer of knowledge. But even if a doctor went, like I have mentioned it, I have been here for a little time. Mine, I call it experiential learning. The things I have seen. Let me go with the fishing, which I know very well now, because here they create ponds. We have what called the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources. They create ponds per village and plant. I call it plant fish. Now we are having a weekend which they call free fishing, where you don't need a license to fish that weekend. We all go out to fish. You go to a pond, you go to the ponds. I mean, I'm just giving you what these people do. That you will not start fighting people in Lake Victoria alone. You create ponds. That is experiential learning. I have learned it from here, that you can go to Bustema and create a large dam and fill it with water and then plant fish for people. Then allow them to fish. once the fish has matured. And you tell them the number. And you know the thing is respected. Once you say they said you are there for today, when you go out, catch 25. That's what you find the notice, catch 25. So by the time you catch 25 yourself, where am I taking them? So some will just catch 2, 3 and return the rest to the water. But these are things that people do. People create the world. These fellas are true living where God instructed them to go manage the earth. They create it. Now today I told you I've just gone to school today. I had never visited my parent today. So I went to school, and the school first has a gymnasium, a primary school. So it was talent display. Of course, people know that I have a girl who is now in second grade, but he's now a blue belt in karate. So that's what she displayed at school, and that's what is educating her. And I am telling you that I attended simply because I felt indebted. Why shouldn't I attend? But I go there, and the teachers and the parents are not there because this thing is self-sustaining, self-governed, So we have destroyed Uganda. Can thrive, Uganda can rise, Uganda can, but I'm like, where do you get these brains that will see these things? Is it the 40 who are coming for the Mandela Washington 6 weeks here? Can they go back and change? But they have been coming. I know they are sending spies. They come and start fearing them. I'm sure those who come with the intentions to go and kill James. You fly to Uganda to come here for 6 weeks to waste time on the taxpayers' money. That's a speech I'll make when I meet them. They arrive here and you fear to associate. Hey, Ugandan who has come, you fear to associate with him. Other than us sharing that, what do you see? What do we transfer? Because they will even come and take them to hospitals. They see for themselves what hospitals look like. On a serious note, when a helicopter flies here, when you see a helicopter flying, which you see every day, it's a mother in labor. Can we use helicopters for airlift mothers to regional hospitals, to district hospitals? This is what these people do here. In Uganda, when you see a helicopter, it is either police, or Museveni, or Janet. Very privileged people. Here, a helicopter is going to save a mother in labor. But like these are things you fear to tell a Ugandan. Most of them don't want to listen. Of course, some of them feel, you can't even talk to them because some of the most educated ones, of course, now feel Agambachi. But now I'm telling you ordinary stories, America. I'm telling you ordinary stories in America. Today I was telling, I went to school and I was telling the mother of the girls that, you know, if a Ugandan buys a Tesla, it will become a story, but it's a shopping bag. This person who has parked this car here is going to drive and going to maybe pass Walmart, buy tomatoes and what have you. In Uganda, they will say, Mugago, 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 Mugago. Life is so standardized, so reduced that you don't admire. I don't know what you admire here. Because every person is engaged, every person is working hard to make sure America is running. So Docas Mulago of 80s, Mulago of Amini, Mulago of Obote was a top-notch hospital. That's why we had the Professor Kiria Willis, a neurosurgeon, late Professor Kiria Willis, a neurosurgeon. That's why you still have Professor Maswa, heart a cardiologist. They could not have trained in Uganda. There's one who died, doctor who died in Australia. There's a doctor who died in Australia. It's called, forget. The one they dubbed the rebel. Then nobody typed the name of the doctor, if you remember. There's a doctor who died in Australia. He even lost his wife first to through scandals in Kampala. They has something. I forget the doctor, but he was a cardiologist. They started from Lago before they went there. And the worst bit of it that now that this thing is affecting the big people, I wish that people could listen. If Cedric can't afford, if Mulyagonja cries, true to the saying that if a giraffe is running, the antelopes don't ask. Docas, I can tell you about hospitals here, not Mulago, because I've been here for 10 years and I see what hospitals do.
True.
Surgery.
Yes.
Surgery. Heart surgery is ABC. And organ donation is something that is normal because they ask us straight away. Driver's license, because to pass a driving test, after passing a driving test, when you're going to get your certificate, your driver's license, you meet somebody who will ask you in case of an accident, would you like us to attach? Can we take you as an organ donor? That is at the driver's license, licensing for driver. Of course, I said, because I think I'll go back to Uganda with my kidneys, maybe. I said, But in the hospital in the week, you see nurses and doctors, they do a parade to respect organ donors, and they walk them in the hospital. I mean, it's just something people enjoy. And they're usually people who have been defined as terminally ill. They know it. Parade of honor for organ donors in the hospital. It's done in a week, every week. So for us here, transferring a kidney, transferring a heart is just ABC. Covered by insurance, of course, definitely, which is an expensive thing, but it's affordable. It's affordable. To the people who are here, it is affordable. To people who are born in this system, it is affordable. They've built the systems. So our healthcare in Uganda is collapsing because it is not sustainable. People are poor. Look, as I run a clinic in Uganda, I have a clinic which I left. And in my clinic, we chose recently, you can't believe it, I think about 2 years ago, it was 2019. The Americans left here to go and see my clinic, and they praised it so much because it's a community based. I will treat you if you bring me eggs. I treat you if you brought me a coke. I treat you if you brought me maize. I treat you if you brought me, because these are the things people. Janjaba, we had stopped practicing in terms of money. Then they'll tell you, Nina Kasoli. Now it is you to start. We had to reach a level where we have people who can now treat me for 5 cobs of maize. Treat me for a coke. Treat me for a tray of eggs. Those are things villagers have that they want to translate into monetary value. And sometimes they don't have somebody to buy it. So you who is running a clinic, you run it on food cash cross food basis. That one cannot run services in Malago. Me, I'm an experienced Ugandans. Ugandans think I speak because I'm in America. I'm a very experienced Ugandans. Very experienced. I lived in Uganda for 50 years. I served Ugandans for about 30 years before I left. And I have a clinic, personal clinic. My salary is 200,000. They pay me now, those who run it, per month. And in that kind of environment, you can't run Malago. You can't run, doctors, you can't run. If you say you want to run a helicopter system, you can't run it. People are poor. The issue is, first of all, stop making people poor, make people credit worthy. I like speaking with evidence. I'm just talking. Let me take this picture and show you, meaning that we're all indoors today. Right now, people have come back from. This is just one side of the house. I'm showing you those pictures. Tell me how you will tell these people are poor. I've taken a picture from my window and put it on a space. You look at you move around the whole place is surrounded by cars. People have come from work. For you, if you rode a border, where does it take you? For you, border is transport. But if I was to use a border here, it means I'm going to work. I go to park it and work. If I drove a car, I'm driving it to go and park and work. A car is like a facilitator. A car is a tool, like a computer. It takes you to work. Where does a border? Those are just idle people, jobless people. Because how many people do you ride to work? And you start sitting for 8 hours waiting maybe for a person who's going to work? How many people are there who just need that constant transport? That's why you find that people are riding up and down, and they fight even for personal transport, and that is poverty. That is poverty. Yes, I've posted the cars. The rich people, yeah, we have classes. The rich people have cars in the garage. The garages are there, and for us, the poor, we park in the compound, and nobody steals. In Uganda, you'll find your lights go. Here we have garages for the rich and those who can afford, because you're paying rent. At the same time, you're renting a garage for your car. So there are cars in the garage and there are cars outside. It makes no difference anyway. Each of us has a car and you're parked. So whether you're parked in the garage, we have all parked cars. Those border, if there's a country that's serious, in India, yes, the borders take people to work in India. In Uganda, borders they call it transport. Here, transport, I think, will be buses. You can use a bus. The buses, yes, come and pass. There are buses to pick children to go to school, and there are buses that pick people to go and work. But most of us are driving because the work authorization is a license. It's a driver's license. If somebody tells you how, you ask them for an identity card, they produce a driver's license. That's an identity card, and it's a work authorization. Docas, can I stop there? Hello, Docas.
Yes, I'm there. I actually just sort of wanted to let people know that we've lost the host. But I think luckily myself, James, and a few others that had the mic are still on. But I think currently it's just myself and you, James. So I think we will have to officially close in brackets by telling people to because maybe let's just confirm one more time. Comrade Muj, are you hearing us? I've tried to inbox, and Comrade Mugisha says he's unable to get hold of him. So we don't know what happened, but we really hope he's okay. So on my end, in closing, of course, we've talked about so many things. I joined the space halfway, and we are insisting, that Ugandans must and should be free. It is our duty, ladies and gentlemen, to fight for the freedom of Uganda. All the friends, all the Ugandans on ground in the diaspora, we have to join forces and really liberate ourselves. And Museveni regime is really criminal. There was a tweet that I had wanted to read out saying that a regime that treats about torturing the opposition members, then sends them to court or jail while they rot in pain is just so cruel. It's not just cruel, yeah. It is criminal. It is so criminal, because people are entitled the right to a doctor, to a personal doctor, to be treated, So it is criminal. They break people's ribs, torture them, rape them, and these guys are really tortured to near death. But they have no shame. They just send them to their horrible detention places. And by the way, those detention places or jail, when you go there, these guys barely have space to even sleep. It's like sleeping on top of each other. There's hardly any room, and they sleep on cold floors. So you can imagine you've been waterboarded, electrocuted for days, raped, beaten, and then you have to go and sleep on a cold floor. There's no mattress to put on the ground, no blanket, nothing. You have to maybe squeeze or share whoever has. It is terrible. You find that a little room that should be accommodating maybe 5 prisoners is having full capacity, 30, 50, 100 people. People are sleeping in tents. Some people have nowhere to sleep. There's no, I do not want to give you guys headache, but it is terrible. Our brothers and sisters are rotting in those places, It is terrible. Yeah. So the tweet, it is, so sending those brothers and sisters that are in pain is not just cruel, it is criminal. Yeah. So, and of course, we're saying, where is the judiciary? Where is your conscience? Stop enabling injustice. So that tweet was to the judiciary because we saw the Lady Justice, when she lost her husband, come out to blame the healthcare. And we are saying these two things are interconnected. You cannot have a judiciary that does not check on what the medical side of things is doing, because the judiciary should actually bring these guys to order and say, hey, you cannot bring this broken guy to my courtroom. He has got to go get treatment first before he comes here, or he or she comes to my courtroom, So they are supposed to tell us of our rights, Yeah, so it is terrible, terrible. And we are saying, where is their conscience, And they should stop enabling injustice. Uganda deserves better. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, of course, hashtags are free political prisoners, hashtag Uganda is bleeding, hashtag stop Museveni, hashtag stop Muhoozi. Uganda, by the way, is not a monarchy. And we will be Comrade James, I think we might have to close the space, like I said, because Comrade Muji is not here to close us off. But I think after you've given your closing, maybe 1 minute remarks, then we'll ask people to leave accordingly. And then Comrade Muji will end the space whenever,
My closing remark is a simple one and it's an interesting one. Mengo Hospital is holding a body. I've just put it on the chat. Mengo Hospital is holding a body, and is being shared, of course, on WhatsApp groups. Mengo Hospital withholds a body over 64 million medical bill. Mengo, I mean, well, how much does a body cost anyway? I wish they had denied the person treatment instead, maybe. Because why would you hold a body? What do you do with it? Do you bury it? Do you sell it? They're withholding a body over 64 million medical bill, Mengo Hospital.
It is sad.
Now, if somebody is dead, or what is lack of common sense in Uganda? So relatives going to collect. There's a belief, of course, there's culture. So people are going to collect money, 60 million shillings to go and collect everybody. Look at that kind of. That is
I know, it is bizarre. I remember during even before COVID days, it is bizarre. I think we should actually be in protest and tell them, okay, you continue holding, we will do our ceremonies without the body. Honestly, I despair.
There's something wrong with our people. I mean, why would you? I wouldn't budge if you keep the body. I mean, people, but now some of us here who will not maybe afford to be flown back if we died here. How do you? How do you hold a body because over 64 million shillings? Just walk away. And then, of course, people are going to start collecting money to go and collect the body. That's how ignorant we are. And the issue, Doctors who have been in this thing with you in the Middle East, you know how much people struggle for dead body in the Middle East rather than the live people, Ugandans. Anyway, that's my closing remark. Miji Martin, well, I'm sorry for you because holding a space every day has a toll on him. It's not easy to go past. This is already 2 a.m. I guess he gets tired and he ends up sleeping on space. It happens. Even me, normally, I log on and when people ask me, are you hearing us? I usually find myself sleeping.
Okay. Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
people can just drop off. We shall drop off one by one, I guess.
Yeah.
For me,
So, I'll just.
it's ignorance killing us in Uganda.
Yeah, I'll just read, maybe not read, say one or two things, and then we do close. Yeah. So by the way, we always speak. Uganda is bleeding. We do hold a meeting every Saturday, 2 p.m. UK time. So convert that to your local time and keep time. We will be speaking on the protest vote. Yeah. So yeah, we've spoken quite a lot on so many things, but my main issue here is the Museveni so-called repentance or prayer. You know. So the last words to those guys is remember the torture, not the prayer. Yeah. And we are not one, because at some point Museveni and Janet were like, oh, we are now in union. No, we are not one. We refuse, we reject. Yeah. So Ugandans reject Museveni's false or fake prayer. Yeah. And and of course, we are saying that this regime cannot speak of forgiveness while it's blacking out our nails and eyes of innocent Ugandans, brothers and sisters, you know, breaking their bonds, sodomizing the men and women. We are saying no to that prayer. We resist. We do not even want to hear. They're not even doing anything about it. Up to now, so many people are in jail illegally, you know, and they just carry on. They have not shown anything to say that, oh, we said that prayer, we've repented, and now we are starting to do good. No, they haven't, because Ugandans have even given them time, and it's what, day 4 or 3 or after their prayer, and we have not seen anything different. If anything, we are seeing even worse, you know. So we are not fools. We are not going to be told all those nonsense stuff. Yeah. So we reject their so-called prayer. And guys, we've come to the end of the meeting. We don't know what Muj would have wanted to say, but I guess he's on. This night shift is on. Look out for the link tomorrow night or during the week. Look, James, we are on. Is it on tomorrow night as well? Do you know?
Sunday. I think they'll be on Sunday.
Okay, yeah. So look out for the link on Sunday and do join the space. And guys, keep the fire burning. Yes, you can now log off, guys, because when James drops and I drop, there's nobody else to give you the mic. We are not co-hosts. So the host is not able to give anyone the mic. So unfortunately, we cannot hear from you guys, and we've monopolized. James and myself have been trying to keep it going. Yes, good night from my end. So please drop off and then come back tomorrow night. Thank you so much, Muj Martin and the team, Comrade Mugisha for the space, Crystal and all the others that have dropped off. Thank you so much, guys. Sister Mimi, Sister Lukanga, Jack, Big Bumper, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ali Bagi. Did I pronounce that right? Justice Speaker, thank you so much. Guys, please log off. Mr. Seguya, please log off.
Is the Big Bumper listening anyway?
Yes, she is listening, but she has no speaker. I mean, no mic. Yes, guys, please go off, because we are now going off, and it won't be fair for us to just drop off and leave you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, guys. You can do an icon and drop off. It's like I'm chasing you off now, because we don't want to just leave you and then you'll be thinking Muji is coming. So you all need to drop before James and I. James and I will drop last. Could you please, guys, drop, because we've now ended. Thank you so much. Big Bumper, please log off. Sister Mimi, Seguya. Okay, I think, yes. Bye, guys. Big Bumper, Seguya, please log off. Can you hear us? Okay, I think we'll leave you all. Okay, thank you so much, Sister Lukanga, Comrade James. I have signed off too, so salute.